welcome to Milan. It's a particularly moralistic time in America at the moment, so why have you decided to release such a risque video now?
Because it's a particularly moralistic time in America, it didn't make me sit back and say, oh, I better not do this now. People aren't going to be very accepting of it. Actually, a lot of the things that I deal with in my music and in the book is in particular with the repression that's going on in America right now. So I think that the timing's very good.
So to what extent do you think that a video like this promotes tolerance to sexual diversity?
To what extent? I really don't know. I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of really narrow-minded people, so if I can change the way that 1/100th of them thinks, then I've accomplished something, and I really can't predict how far-reaching that would be, you know, how many people I would change and how much tolerance would grow out of what the messages that I've put forth in the music.
Do you notice any differences between the way that America reacts to some of the things you do and to the way that Europe reacts? Because in my opinion, I feel that we're much more tolerant as a society.
In England or in Europe?
In Europe. I think particularly Europe is more...
Europe, absolutely more tolerant. In fact, I feel like in Europe, people actually deal with the actual music and the artistic value of things, whereas in America, they're just so obsessed with scandal and so uptight about so many things that they can't get past their own hang-ups to actually to have a discussion about, you know, the music or the movie or the book or whatever it is that people do.
So do you feel that, in a sense, that your sexual mores are more European in value than American?
Yeah, I guess I'd have to say that.
Okay. Much of your work involves the display of your own body, so would you agree with Camille Paglia, who asserts that female beauty is a potent form of power?
Absolutely.
So in what way are you using your power?
You mean I have to tell you? How am I using my power? By doing what I do.
But she says, she asserts that the power of the female beauty is used today in a much more socio-political way, and that you are at the forefront.
Well, it depends on what you do. I mean, you could be a beautiful girl and just sit around the house filing your nails all day, or you could be a beautiful girl who's out there saying something, taking risks, and trying to change people's way of thinking, which is what I think I am. But I have to preface all of that by saying that beauty is in the eye of the beholder. There are plenty of people who don't think I'm beautiful, so in that case, Camille's ideas are out the window. So.
Do you believe that you've changed the sort of sexual mores of society, particularly in America?
I've had an effect in changing them. Lots of other people have too, but yes.
Is that more of a personal effect in terms of closer relationships, or in a wider term?
Wider. Just overall general acceptance of other people's differences, sexual preferences, whatever.
The video is seen on MTV around the world, and because it's a video, it will be seen as being glamorous. So to what extent do you feel that you're glamorizing sex without giving a safe sex message?
Well, once again, I'm not really sure what you mean by glamour. I think there's going to be a lot of people who see the video and don't think it's glamorous at all. I think they're going to think it's repulsive or disgusting or something. I don't know. And in the video, I never display any sort of unsafe sex, so I'm not promoting unsafe sex. If someone puts a harness on me and is riding me around like I'm a farm animal, I don't consider that unsafe sex. So if I'm sharing a lollipop with someone, I don't consider that unsafe sex. But as far as my work goes, I have said so many things about practicing safe sex that I just think that it's a given, that people know that that's something that I believe in. So. And one more thing, it's a fantasy. The whole video is a fantasy. My book is a fantasy, and so I'm not actually saying this is what you should go out and do. I'm presenting a fantasy, not something that actually happened in reality. Or so it's something that you can actually, if you watch the video and you get off on it or you find it exciting, whatever, that is absolutely the safest form of sex for everyone. So.
Are they, is the book or the video actually your sexual fantasies, or is it like general sexual fantasies you feel?
Well, I think it's a combination of many things. I think if anybody writes anything, whatever, any writer, there's something of that writer in their work, even if it's fiction. So there are some of my ideas in it, there are other people's ideas in it, and I think it would be impossible to find the line, you know, of where's fact and where's fiction. I think it's an absolute combination of it all.
How did you get people to appear in the photos?
Well, most of the people that are in the book were friends of mine and or Stephen Meisel, photographer. So.
And when you brought them in to do the shots, a lot of the footage in the video seems like a sort of home video type material. I mean, it's probably meant to look like that, you know, in that way. And was that shot at the same time, and did the people know about it?
Absolutely. Everybody knew about it. All the people that participated in the book and in the video knew that they were taking part in both of it. And we absolutely got their permission and told them about it. I mean, they'd have to be deaf, dumb, and blind to not see cameras all around them. So, of course, they knew about it. And we shot the film on Super 8, and it's all handheld, so it has that, you know, very home video kind of feel about it. It has a more personal, intimate feel, like a voyeuristic feel, you know, when it's handheld like that. And it also has, you know, Super 8's really grainy film, so it's kind of scratchy and sort of antique looking.
And there's humour in the video, which is what I like, and also one of the shots, which is from the book, I found very humorous, which was you hitchhiking. I think it was on Miami Beach. What did the motorists do when they sailed past you?
I think they all thought they were having a hallucination or something. Most of them just slowed down a little bit, looked at me, did a double take, and just kept on driving. I really don't think they thought they were seeing correctly. They all probably went to the eye doctor the next day. I don't know.
What about yourself? What was going through your mind when you're standing there?
I was laughing my head off. I couldn't stop laughing. I don't know, it was very liberating. I was giggling the whole time because I felt like I was doing the ultimate taboo. You know, you're not allowed to be in public without your clothes on. Only children are allowed to be in public without their clothes on, and it was very freeing in a way. I felt like a child again because just running in the streets naked.
But with a handbag?
Well, of course, shoes and a handbag. A girl can't go anywhere without her handbag. Her pocketbook.
What I'd like to know is that, were there any, when you sat down and sort of decided which fantasies you were going to pursue in terms of the shots,
right.
Were there any that
you mean in the book?
In the book, yeah. Were there any that you came up with in your mind and thought, I will never be able to publish this?
No. I did everything I wanted to do. Absolutely.
So the publisher didn't come to you, lay down any laws saying, well, I'll print the
book.
In
the very beginning, when we all made the agreement to do the book, Warner Books, you know, they gave me their rules. They said, we don't want you to do this picture, that picture. You know, we don't want you showing pictures depicting sex with children. We don't want you showing pictures depicting sex with animals, and no desecration of religious objects. But none of those things happened to be my sexual fantasies, so that wasn't a problem for me. So it ended up not, I didn't have to censor anything.
We've been talking about image a lot, and sometimes the music is overlooked, especially by the press. And I listened to the album today, and the album has a lot of good music on it. So what for you is the primary importance? Is it music?
The most important thing is that I say the things I want to say in my music, or whatever expression that may be, whether that's writing a book or writing songs or or acting or whatever. The most important thing is that I feel fulfilled as an artist, and what ultimately what the world gets out of it and what they choose to see, I can't control it or predict it. And of course I always hope that they will see that and get past, you know, what they consider the scandal or the imaging or the, what, you know, but that's something the media's created.
I know.
Is this guy amazing? Like,
Yes, I am a tramp. And I'm proud of it.
I have absolutely no control over the media. I only have control over what I do as an artist, and if I say what I want to say, then I have fulfilled myself. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, I think so. How therapeutic is writing a song? Because
Extremely.
because there's a song on the album that's written about people that you know that have died of AIDS.
Mm-hmm.
So in a way that the writing process for you is also a way of letting out emotions.
Yes, and that's not to say even that everything I write is exactly true and what happened to me. I think that, you know, all kinds of artistic expression can be a cathartic experience for you emotionally. Whether you go to a canvas and take a brush and just like start painting, you know, smears of red and blue, or you write a poem, or you write a song, piece of music, whatever. It's absolutely therapeutic. Yeah.
When you work on a song, what's the actual process?
It's
What is
different
it?
every time. It's really different every time. Sometimes I have an idea musically in my head. I don't play an instrument, so I work with several different songwriters, and I will go to one of them and say, I hear this, play this on the piano or whatever, and record it. Sometimes people present me with music, and it inspires me to write words to it.
The sound is quite raw on the album at
Yeah.
times as well. How do you get that sound? I mean, how?
By not producing it too much. I mean, actually, when we went in and we wrote the songs, Shep Pettibone and Andre Betts, two different guys that I wrote with on this album, we did them all on 8-track. We made 8-track demos, and we basically kept them very true to what our original inspiration was when we were writing the songs. Instead of taking those tracks and then going into a 24-track and saying, okay, we have to do everything over, only better, we said, this is it, this is good enough. I mean, we did a few minor overdubs, but other than that, pretty much what you hear on the album is what the original demo form of each song was. That's probably why it has that raw feeling to it.
You've been an artist that's been successful throughout the whole of the MTV period.
Mm-hmm.
How important do you feel that MTV has been in your success?
I think it's been extremely important because MTV is so much about image and the visual presentation, and since I love film, for me it's given me a great chance to express myself and sort of make little movies out of each of my songs. So, extremely
In recent
important.
times, it's been, you know, difficult in the powers that be to always show your video like the present one. Do you feel now that really that MTV doesn't matter anymore, that you are, you know, well enough known not to worry about that form of medium, and that you can just express what you want to express and not worry about having it
accepted by MTV?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, MTV, I'm not going to denigrate or deny how instrumental they were in helping me in the beginning of my career. But, you know, MTV plays to a huge audience, and a lot of them are children, and a lot of the themes that I'm exploring in my videos aren't meant for children. So I understand that they say they can't show it, and I accept it. But that's where I am right now in my life. So it's not like I'm saying, you know, oh, you know, I don't need you anymore, screw off. You know what I mean? It's not like that at all. It's just, I understand these are adult themes. Children watch the show, so of course you can't play it on the show. I accept it.
With what you're expressing now, how much have you thought about going on tour and expressing what you're expressing now on stage?
I think about touring, but really I haven't got a specific date in my mind, so it probably wouldn't be until next year, and I've got absolutely no idea how, what, when, where, anything, how I would do it. But, you know, I'm sure it's going to come up sooner or later.
Of course, another area that you're involved in is acting. So how much more confident have you become over the years as an actress?
I'd say with the last couple of movies that I've done, a lot more confident. I mean, it's like anything. The more you get on stage and perform, the better you feel in front of a crowd. It's the same thing with a camera and film. The more I do it, the more confident I feel. So little by little.
Much is said that you like to, and I don't know whether this is true, of course, but much is said that you like to control everything around you and what you're doing and the direction you're going and so on and so forth. But when you're an actor, you can't control the film. The director controls the film.
That's
so
right.
how...
That's why I'd like to be a director.
And also direct yourself?
No,
Why wouldn't you do that?
because that's too complicated. I don't want to run back and forth the camera. That's because being a director is about being in control, and being an actor is about letting go, and I think that it's asking too much to play both roles.
Is that also why you started Maverick as a record label? Because you wanted to, I suppose, sort of move on and have another facet to what you're doing musically, really, and be in control in that area?
Yeah, well, you know, control is a word we're sort of throwing around, and I think that it has a negative connotation. And when I say I want to be in control, I simply mean I have a dream, I have a vision, and I want to execute it. When you're a musician, when you're a singer, and much of the work I've done, I've had an idea or a dream or a vision, and I've seen it from beginning to end, and it's been my own personal vision. As an actress, you are servicing someone else's dream. The only person that's vision is executed is the director. So there's the difference there. And then as far as Maverick goes, the company, I have a company because I'm interested in exploring, nurturing, and developing other people's talent, other musicians, other singers, other writers, other actors, other directors, everything. I like to think of it as an artistic think tank where I just like to go out and find young, raw talent and put people together and come up with stuff. So it's kind of an experiment. And it has less to do with control and more to do with nurturing other people.
Is it also a good way of actually, for you to get new ideas, that you're surrounded by so many people doing different things? That
Well, I've always gotten ideas from other people. I think that's the best way to be inspired as an artist is to be around humanity, whether you're walking down the street or you're standing in the middle of a shopping mall or you're hanging around a lot of really brilliant people. I mean, you know, the smarter, I mean, the more brilliant people that you hang around, the more inspired you get, you know. So I just like to be around talented people, whether I use what I learned from them in my work or not.
Now, one of the first singles that was going to be released from Maverick was The Queen's English, which was by the two dancers that were...
Louis and Jose.
Yeah, that's right. What happened to that? Will it be released at some point?
Yeah, it's going to be released, but it's going to be on a compilation record with a series of different artists, all New York artists that sort of are in that genre of music, house music. And right now we're compiling all the artists for that, so once we have all the songs, we'll release that. That wouldn't come out until next year.
And on that track that you were involved vocally as well, weren't you? With doing
I sang backup, yeah.
How do you feel about the fans outside your hotel window?
Here?
Yeah.
Well, they're very annoying at night when I'm trying to sleep. That's how I feel. I mean, I'm very flattered by it, but They
What do you
should just
say
have
to-
a curfew or something. After midnight, they have to go home.
A fan curfew.
Yes.
What do you say to them? I mean, do you actually ever give them advice like, you know, why don't you get out of here? Why?
No, because if I walked out in front of my hotel, I would be ambushed. So I don't think there's really a chance for discussion. No. What you mean? What would I say to them now on TV, or what
No,
do
I
say
mean,
to them
in
personally?
terms of that. Well, I read an article once where it said that you really felt that people outside your house, it was why don't you get yourself a life? Why don't you go away and do something instead of sitting there? Because what they're doing isn't exactly, it's
promoting.
flashing, but it's not creative in a lot of ways. Do you
Absolutely.
understand?
No, I really don't understand it. I mean, it's sort of absurd behavior, you know. I mean, I can't imagine anyone having. I always thought young people had short attention spans, but I mean, you can't imagine how long people sit out in front of my apartment building in New York for days, from 7 o'clock in the morning until, you know, 2 o'clock in the morning. It's just never ending, and they just stare at my building. I mean, how insane is that?
And they're probably still there while you're in Milan.
They're waiting for me to come back.
You have there's an official fan club magazine called Icon.
Yeah.
What's your involvement in that?
Well, you know, I get tons of fan mail, and instead of having to, you know, make all of my secretaries read it and send them autographed pictures and stuff, this woman and this man approached me and they said they wanted to have my fan, you know, be in charge of my fan club, and they would take care of it. And all I had to do was, they would make a newsletter, and I sort of write them letters every couple of months, sort of letters to the fan they publish in the magazine, and my publicist talks to them on a fairly regular basis, giving them, you know, updates on what I'm doing, what I'm working on. So we're pretty involved in it, you know, and I really like the people that are in charge of it. So.
Is it also a way of just sort of keeping your fans
Notified.
Yeah, and also sort of happy without them actually just doing what they do here, stand outside a hotel, and it's a bit depressing.
Absolutely, yeah.
Do you think you're too famous and too open to have a successful relationship?
No. No.
Is that just bravado?
Is what just bravado?
Just saying,
No.
that, you know, you're just being positive about life, saying it will.
Well, first of all, I'm not open about everything. You haven't asked me absolutely everything. So I'm open. I've been open to the things you've asked me. And if you ever ask me a question I don't want to talk about, I would say I don't want to talk about it. And my honesty has got nothing to do with my ability to have a successful relationship with someone.
But the fact that you're so well known can, especially, you know, I mean, men get very intimidated by powerful women.
That's their problem.
Many people say to me, where does Madonna go from here? You know, everyone that talks to me says, where does Madonna go now because of what you're doing now?
Well, what difference does it make? They said that a year ago about me, and then they said that a year. They're too obsessed with where I'm going to go. I don't think about that. You know, it's a sort of trivial idea, and people who say, where am I going to go from here, are people that are sort of hung up on the scandalous aspect of everything that I do, and not actually what I'm saying, the message of what I'm saying. So I think it's a silly question.
Okay, so do you think that what you really want is to earn respect from the people? The kids respect you because they know your songs, they know your music. When you go out there, they know everything. But the press, in a way, just to know the publicity's angle, the upfrontness, as it were, and not really what's behind it. So would you really like to have the respect as an artist?
I think every artist wants respect and understanding, yes.
Okay, thank you very much.
I'd like to put you in a trance. Erotica. Romance. Put your hands all over my body. Only the one that hurts you can make you feel better.